I like to remind every family I work with that they are just as much a member of the IEP team, and they have the ability to write goals. They have the ability to request all these things. So you can request an AT assessment. Again, my preference is that we start with the other assessments first, so we have that data from the other professionals, and then we can kind of bring in AT like as like the cherry on top, really. So once we have, so you can request that. And again, I think it's the school district in California. I'm not as familiar with other states. They have about 60 days to comply with that assessment. And then from the day the assessment happens, they have 90 days to get that IEP meeting in place, to talk about it and then respond and have all of that. I believe those are the right numbers. It could be flipped. But basically they have to, you can, anybody can request it. The parents can request it, and then they do have to comply. And then once you have those services in place, the team decides what the best course of action is. A lot of families don't know that, and they end up waiting until it's a lot later when they could have been supported a lot earlier. So I personally have the mindset that most kids can benefit, even kids who are like, typically developing, they can benefit from it too. And a lot of school districts are also kind of seeing that universal like applicability to their whole population. But I do think that if you basically have any kind of service like that on your IEP, you probably can benefit from an AT assessment, even if the outcome of that is, this kid's on the upward trajectory. Let's kind of just stick with what's happening. But then, let's monitor this. Let's check in a year and see if there is that kind of necessity at that point. So I think that at least having somebody around and knowing who to talk to, and knowing that there is a point person, finding out who that is on your team, and then also staying kind of connected that way. And then, again, if nothing's indicated, you can always reevaluate. Typically we kind of look at that triennial period of every 3 years we're evaluating, but you can request that. And again, it can be kind of annoying. It can be a tedious process, but you can request that more frequently. And, hopefully a good assistive technology professional is going to be on that and might be constantly kind of evaluating or saying, let's look at this again.